Hi guys, it's Amy with Aim to Plan, and today we're here to talk budget planning. So I spent the past couple of days really honing in on what I wanted to do for my budget. I have been sick for about a week, and so I didn't want to make decisions about my budget while I was sick, but now I'm feeling better and it was time. So after Sophia's birthday party on the 5th and just being sick, it was just time to get back into it. So, like I said, I've spent the past few days thinking about it, and I'm ready. I'm ready to make these decisions. So I wanted to talk about what I've got for my budget planning. I've got two systems in play. The first one is this cute little book that I've got where I just track all of my expenses on the go and just budget notes too. So you'll see notes here related to budget. I do use this little book to track future events. And so I do write all of my notes for the rest of the year in here, just as like a planner, just like it should be used. But for each week, like for this week, for example, I'll just go in and just decorate the week prior and cover up all of the notes because these notes do end up in my personal planner, and so I don't need it duplicated. I don't need it in this mini planner as well as in my personal planner. So once it gets transferred over, then I just convert it to a budget planner. So that's what I've been doing, at least for the past couple of weeks, and that's been working out really well. I do, like I said, use this just to track mostly what I spend on the go. I write down all of those things. So that's the first step. And then I do go into my planner, my classic size planner. January pages are in my FRANKENPLANNER, so I'll just show you February. It is an outdated lined vertical. This is from 2024, but what I do with these pages is I don't even use the dates. What I do is instead have different categories that I list, and I track everything for the week by category and just have a running tally at the bottom for what I spent in each category for that week. I don't have a page to show you. I haven't even done it. So I don't have a page to show you what it looks like. Hopefully in maybe an upcoming video, I'll show you what my budget looks like on paper for a week. But for this video, I really wanted to talk about where my budget is coming from. And so I'm going to flip back actually to November just show you this, because this is kind of what we're going to be talking about. Now, for the end of November, this is end of November going into December 1st, I went through and basically put all of my categories right here, and then this is the end of November. These are all of the dollar amounts for each of these categories, where I went over, where I was under, all of those things. I used this in December as well, but I wasn't super good about using it in December just because December is a holiday month. So I was probably a little bit off. I do need to go in and like finish out my 2024 budget, but I also decided, my numbers were exactly the same in terms of these categories. And so I used the same numbers for December. So for January, starting in January, actually starting today, I'm going to take a look at these numbers and really talk to you about where I see my numbers going, budgeting for myself, all of my personal expenses, and then I do put money into a joint account for all of our household expenses, mostly bills. Okay, my husband also has his own separate account, and so I don't do any budgeting for my husband. So this budget is accounting for my purchases as well as all of our household stuff that comes out of the joint account. Okay, so with that in mind, then going back to bills, this bills category comes from our joint account. Right now it's at $2,400, and actually I really need to bump this up because one of the things that I want to do in January is reduce the number of categories that I have, and I want to put in bills or daycare payments, and so I'm going to increase this to $31.75 each month. So that's bumping it up like $775, somewhere in that range, but it's $31.75 per month for my bills and utilities and daycare. Okay, so that's the first one. And then going down here, I have home. Now home, I will say, was a category that I did not use that often in 2024. This is really mostly for home repairs, if there's any maintenance fees, that kind of thing. So it's a sinking fund. It's something where I'm saving money in this category, but I don't necessarily like use it as a like an everyday spend kind of category. So what I've decided for 2025 is this home category is deleted. I'm going to try to save $750 every month for house expenses. But the way that I'm going to do that is in terms of my take home pay. I'm budgeting 6,000, and then I'm reducing all of my categories to be 6,000 minus 750. Okay, so I'm spending only, man, I wish I had a calculator, but whatever 6,000 minus 750 is. And so instead of having it be a category that I'm tracking every week, I'm just going to save 750 every month. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense, right? It's going to be a savings account rather than a category for spending. Okay, so that explains those two. Again, bills, 3175. I'm still, I guess, saving 750, so that's there, right? Then car and gas. Car and gas, I wanted to get to the point. Well, first of all, I work from home now, and so I don't need as much gas. And then car is where I'm saving money for any car maintenance issues. And so these two total you can see is 175 each month. I've decided just to go ahead and keep it very simple and make this $200, right? So it's $200. I had a lot of money in this category, but I'm just going to go ahead and combine these two. It will be 200 for car, gas, any car maintenance, tires, anything related to the car, like car washes, all of those things will be combined in here, and it'll be $200 instead of the 175 that I have here. And you'll hear 200 quite a bit because that's kind of where I'm going. Okay, so this was combined to 200. Food, I spend so much money on food, and I'm going to try to be in 2025 very aware of how much I'm spending in food. But for food, I did move it up from 250 in 2024, the beginning of 2024, to 300 at the end of 2024. So I ended 2024 at $300. I am going to start 2025 with this also at $200. Again, just trying to keep it very consistent. It's just going to be 200 all the way down, right? So I'm reducing my food category by $100 a month. Right now, food covers all of my dining out, restaurants, coffee, alcohol, groceries, also in food. Okay, and so I need to be very, very aware of this because this was definitely one that I overshot most months. So this will be reduced and something that I'm keeping an eagle's eye on. Okay, so that's food. I'm trying to trim the fat here. Okay, so right, this is 200, this is 200, so 400 so far. Personal in 2024 was at 250. I'm also reducing this by $50, so that way it also is 200 a month. Okay, so that's 600 total for personal. I use this for like the catch-all category for any planner supplies, personal shopping, clothes, beauty stuff, all the things that I do for myself. It comes from this, like it's basically my money, Amy's money to spend however I want to. All right, so that's $200. So 200, 400, 600. Sophia gets a monthly allowance of $20, so I'll leave that the same. All right, gifts had 200. It will stay 200. So this is all birthday gifts, all holiday gifts, Christmas gifts, Halloween, Thanksgiving, anything that I do in terms of planning for a party of some sort comes out of gifts. Vacation, $200, so that will stay the same as well. So these are all of the, it could be like gas for when we're on vacation, food during vacation, souvenirs during vacation, any vacation tickets, for those all go here. Hotel goes in here as well. Right, this one, kids is one that I'm just gonna delete altogether. And so one of the main reasons we had 500 a month for kids was because of daycare. And so I honestly did not use 500 a month. You can see here, ending November, I had like over $3,500 in this category just because it was meant to be for daycare, and then I just ended up not using it for daycare. So I'm just deleting this altogether, just getting rid of this category altogether. Anything that's kids related will be combined into education, so we'll talk about that in just a minute. Right, this next to last one is health. Health was $200 a month. I'm going to leave it at $200 a month for my budget. So health covers any copays, doctor's appointments, any like bills that I had to pay related to a doctor's appointment, medications that I buy, also any health related items. So it could be, I try to keep beauty and personal, but any health related items that I might purchase, I don't know, maybe like essential oils. That might be a good example. That would go here. All right, and then the last category is education. So education, I'm going to make a little bit broader. It's going to cover all the things that I need for my professional development. So I have to pay a certain licensing fee every single year, but also I want to be able to cover any kids' expenses. So after school care, anything related to like lessons that they might have, any after school events, any purchases that they need for school, that would all go in education. And so kids and education are kind of being combined. And that total, is it was 650 for 2024, but I'm going to just keep it to 200. Okay, so I'm bumping education up to 200, but that's part of getting rid of kids, is just combining and moving some of that money into education. So this was 200, 400, 600, 800, 820, 1020, 10, 1220, 1420. Okay, so 1420. And then here I said 3175. So if you do the math there, it's a little bit less than $5,000 if I'm doing my math correctly, right? And my income every month is $6,000. That's what I budget for. And so there is a gap between my budgeted income and my bills here, or all of my expenses, of about $1,000. And so that covers this home, where it's $750 to cover any home expenses, but also any other expenses, emergencies that we might have, right? So that's kind of where my budget is. I do use a software program, Rocket Money, and so I track all of my budgets in Rocket Money, and the reason why I've decided to just make everything at $200 is because I use the free version of Rocket Money, and because it's free, I can't set all of these budget categories. And so at a glance, when I'm going into my budget on Rocket Money, if everything's $200, I can see that very easily. The only one that wasn't $200 was Sophia's, and so for Sophia, I have set her $20 a month as one of my 2 budget categories. So I think you get 2 free budget categories, then everything else is kind of lumped into like everything else spending. And so Sophia is one of my 2. I don't have another, right? So I'm using only Sophia as like, it's the only one that's not $200. And so she has her $20 set in Rocket Money. And then everything else is just listed in the everything else spending category. And then I just make sure that when I go in to check it, that it is going to be close to or under that $200, right? I do also track it on paper using my lined vertical by category. And so with the number of categories in terms of reducing it and combining some, I do have it down to a good amount, where some of the categories I don't spend every week. And so I'm able to put everything in terms of all categories in the weekly page. Again, I'll probably do a video showing you what that looks like in real time for one of my budgets weeks, because I just haven't done it yet. But this is in theory where I'm going with it. And then, as I've already mentioned, I write on paper my expenses on the go as well. So expenses on the go, tracked on paper by category. The categories are set, as you can see, mostly at $200 for the month. And then I just kind of like deduct at the end of the week all the things from that category, and total it at the bottom of the lined vertical. But I have a backup because I use Rocket Money to do it digitally. So that's my setup for 2025, January 2025, in terms of budget. I am more than open to answering any questions that you have about my budget, but also I do like to change up my budget, and I do look at it every single month. Well, I shouldn't say that. I try to look at it every single month and make adjustments as I need to, so things might increase or decrease over time, but this is kind of where I'm starting for January 2025. So yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel, and until the next video. Bye guys.